All right, so we are going to work that rehab mobility. There's a lot of mobility drills and tools that you can utilize, but the ones that we're going to set forth on today are actually going to serve us as something that's going to help prohibit injury, and it's also going to help with the stiffness associated with a bad back or a terrible shoulder, even knees. It's a short regimen, so you can do it if you're feeling really locked up at the work desk and you're starting to feel that neck pain that's coming in after hours of, just diving into the keyboard, or if you're an athlete or recreational athlete and you're putting on a lot of mileage or a lot of hours into what you love to do, this will serve as that rehab. But it is my number one rehab mobility, which means if anything hurts, if anything bothers you, you're not going to force yourself into pain and you're going to draw back completely or just take it very easy in the exercise. So if we're doing a movement and something is bothering you, you are not going to work into that pain. If on the next set or rep it keeps bothering you or exacerbates, you're just going to sit this one out, okay? That's important. Now, I'm going to use a workout bench, but this can easily be done with any bench or chair. But the way that I'm going to do this, and you'll see even a couch or a coffee table. I have padding for my knees because we will be on our knees with a mat. Again, you can deconstruct this any way you want in your living room, in your office, or at the gym right before you're about to train or do what you love, okay? If you are doing this as a part of a program once to twice a week, but if you love the way the movements make you feel, you can literally do this daily. That's important. This is one thing that you can technically do daily. If you want to see the benefit from any of these movements, make a regimen at least once a week. That's important. You can't do something once and expect the world to open up. You have to stay disciplined. That's essential. So I am using this, which is the end of an old broom. I literally unscrewed it. This could be a PVC pipe. The goal of this is it is not weighted. So you do not want to use anything weighted, or if you have one of those very small weighted bars, they should be no more than 5 pounds. Ideally, something like this. You can find this anywhere in like a convenience store or anything like that. I'm also going to have one motion that is going to utilize a foam roller. But if we don't have this, we are going to improvise, so don't worry. So, and the reality is everything that you have in front of us, or we have in front of us, can be just acquired from a basic home goods store. Basic bench, chair, couch in your home, or a workout bench, and then we have this guy. So, we're actually going to start off, we'll leave this here, standing over the chair, bench, couch, whichever, and the knees aren't not flush, but you're not far away. And all we're going to do is sit back. And the reason we're doing it like this is if you didn't use something, then you would very likely start bending at the knees first. But we're close enough here where we're going to limit the motion of the knee bend, making you hip hinge or push back with your hips. Squeeze the butt muscles, use the arms. If anything bothers you, just deconstruct. You can also keep your arms here and back. But ideally here, you should feel a good stretch in the hamstring. Don't look down, don't arch up, just in front of you, and think of pushing your chest out with not overarching, so just neutral. Don't think of over-exacerbating motion here or here, just think of chest coming out and looking forward. We're gonna do about 3 more. Boom, and 3. Perfect, and now we're gonna take this. Now, if your shoulders are at limited range, and you cannot come here, don't force yourself, then continue the movement without this. For the rest of us, make sure you're not pushing down on your neck so you have enough range to get here. We're just going to do 5 this way. So 5, 4. Now if you notice this makes you have a straighter back, squeeze the glutes 3, stretch the hamstrings, squeeze the glutes, 2, hamstrings and glutes, and last one is 1. Awesome. Now the next movement, again, if you feel like it's too much, you're feeling any spinal pain or like your back is hurting, stick with the first one. But if you feel okay with this, we're just literally going to do 6, 3 aside. We're going to lean, and then we're going to try 2 things. We're going to try to reach this to the bench, but we're not going to do that by reaching. We're going to look up. So you're going to start to look and reach, and back, and stand. That's one, and here. And you're gonna start to compare the sides. Look and try to reach. That's two. Now, people that are suffering back pain, have had herniations or issues, maybe it was a long time ago, and you can do this with no pain, but if you can't, then just stick with this one, okay? For the rest of us right here, we're gonna look, so we're gonna lead with our eyes, our neck is gonna get a good stretch, right back, and two more. You're gonna feel your abdominals here. So it is kind of like you're literally working your abs, but again, no pain. Some of these movements, especially if you're doing this and you're really locked up or you've had injury, may not be for you. This is generalized in a sense of upkeep. It's like floss, dental floss, okay? Flossing the teeth. Now we're gonna go underhand grip, and we're going to do 6. I'm sticking with 6. If you feel like you wanna do 7 or 8 or stay in it because it feels good, great. If there's pain, don't do it. So elbows are gonna be on, and all we're gonna do, it's gonna feel a little counterintuitive, is as we curl, we're gonna make that cat-cow, or angry cat, I call it, or stretching cat. Let's not make cats angry, and right out. So I'm staying there for a count of 1, 2. So right here, and you don't wanna overpull, you don't wanna hurt yourself. You're just gonna make that nice little curve, 1, 2, and back. Now this stretches the lats, and the lats, I'll show you where they are, 1, 2, and back, those big pulling muscles, whether you're actually doing a pull-up or have not done anything in forever, 1, 2, or maybe you're a martial artist and you're using the clinch. Everyone uses their back, and we're 1, 2, we're gonna do one more together. Again, if this feels good, you can do more, and if this is painful, do less. You shouldn't over push, don't try to compete with yourself, just get into the movement and come back. Now what you felt there was a good stretch in the lats, and the lats generally, when we're here, or here, wherever we are, they get very weak and tight, they tighten inward, okay? All these upper back muscles get long and weak, and these get short and weak. So we're doing this movement in order to literally mobilize them. Now we're gonna do the adverse. It is very, very common that maybe you'll like one exercise and the other one doesn't feel right. You're gonna step a little further back with your knees. Okay, it doesn't matter where your feet are, I like to keep my toes here. And now as you push the chest down, you already feel a stretch. Don't curve through here, just be neutral here. And think of leading with the chest, not the lower spine. You're going to curl, squeeze, and go 1, 2, and back. Relax a little, stay there, maybe push a little bit more with the chest, and 1, 2, and back. And now we're gonna do the last 4 at a 3 count. Don't be surprised if you can't bring this back any further than this, that's tightness. And 1, 2, 3, and back. See if you want to push a little further without over flexion or movement in the lower spine. So think of tightening up your abdominals, leading with the chest. 1, 2, 3, and we're going to go again. 1, 2, 3, and if you can and want to, last one. 1, 2, 3, time. We're going to leave this. Now, what you probably felt is some tremendous stretching. Now, as long as the knees don't bother you, sit back on the toes. And I'd like to have this because what you can really do is sit back on the toes here. Instead of being up here, you can sit back and really stretch the toes. If you've had toe issues or injury or haven't stretched them for a while, come down. You can use those as a reference and come up. And it might feel a little bit off. And don't look down, don't look up, just natural and neutral, okay? The spine's always neutral, never overarching or exacerbating any motion. And now we're going to use the bench couch, whatever that is. And if you want to be slick about it, you can push up and back this way. If you've had some issues in the past, just stand up, walk back, and push this way. Keep the heels on the ground, and just feel that nice little stretch. And now bend a little, but when you bend here, I do not want your toes coming off the ground. So some people will be able to bend more than others, and you're going to feel the difference left to right. My left is always tighter. And then straighten out without, again, any pain. See how far you get. And then bend a little bit more. So we're actually stretching the calf right now. And right back up. And now we're going to bring the foot. So hand width up with the toe. So if you're at a couch, it's very easy to do hand width. And if you're not at a couch or you're at a bench like this, just kind of measure it where it's hand width from the big toe. Hold this, do not stretch forward. Keep this in the ground and try to bring your knee to the edge. So if you're at a wall, this is great. This is traditionally done at a wall, but you don't have to do it at a wall. And the only thing is, I know most of you are doing it and you're like this, or maybe you're like this. This isn't the motion. You're leading from the knee. This is why you have support here. You're not going to force yourself any further than you can go, and you're not going to compromise by bringing this up. So if you're having a really hard time not bringing this up, pull your big toe almost off the ground first so I can see how far you can get. So we're going to do 2 more and switch. I'm going to stick to everything at a 6 or 7. And what this does is it mobilizes the calf, opens up the top of the foot. A lot of times people have very tight hips, but the origin comes from here. Sometimes it's somewhere else, but generally from here. I'm going to measure the same, so kind of have this measurement, great. I'm going to be here, use this as support. If you're too far back, you're going to stretch this way, we don't want that. Okay, you're going to be right here. You can see the difference in my foot. I'm much tighter on the left in the calf, and you can start to see the differences in your own body. And that's because we don't move unilaterally, we're not even left to right. There's differences in strength and mobility. If you look at any sport, there's a dominant side, tennis, backhand, forehand, right? You're standing in a specific stance. There's really nothing that's hyper balanced. In your own day, you're using your right more than your left or vice versa. So these become important, and I like to work the left to right because you have a clear indication. So we just mobilized the calves. If this was really tight for you, you need to do this almost every day, and you can literally use a wall. I have this in a lot of the regimens. And now we're going to deal with the chest. So I really like the foam roller. I don't like the spiky one, it's the only one I have. So standard, but I will show you if you don't have one. If you have a short one, your neck is on. So my neck is supported, great. I'm going to go pretty wide here, but not overly wide. So I like to use my thumb as a reference to my shoulders, but abs are tight, you're balanced, and you're gonna reach. And that's a chest stretch. It's a really important chest stretch. So my elevation is obviously allowing me that room to stretch. You'll be shocked how many people can't get past here. And this is why we don't want a weighted bar, because I don't want the weight to take you, because you're gonna hyperextend in your back. Just right now, you have your hip, your neck, everything on. Now, if you don't have this elevation, you can literally start this here, and you can start to try to figure out how to get back here. And then over time, if you're really invested in your body, you just pick up a foam roller. And this may be easy, and taking that extra range may be very difficult. So it really depends, but that's one way to do it. Another way is to get right up against the couch if you want more range. I'm crossing my feet in order to mitigate movement, and then I'm going to try to reach back. And I'm pushing in here so that I don't hyperextend. You don't want to do that, right? So stay neutral, abs are tight, bracing. You just take your hand, cinch into that waist, flex all the muscles mentally so you can connect to every part, and don't hold your breath. So you have a little bit more of that control, and then you come back. So that's another option, and don't do this. This is one of the reasons I prefer the floor one. Look if there was a horizon above the horizon. Okay, so that's your next one, and pretty important. And then we just have one more, and we are done with this mobility series. Now, you can use these independently once you're like, oh, I love this, or you can use this as a flow, which I really like a lot. So again, without too much motion, abs are tight, not too far out. Don't be too far in. So you want to be here and fairly at the edge, abs tight. You're going to reach down, come back, and see if you can get here. And right back. And that is for your back. That is for your lower back. We're talking to the lower back. Again, if there's any pain, don't do it. And again, don't do this. Horizon. Picture that horizon. You're in a beautiful ship. You're looking at the horizon. We're going to do 2 more. And remember, what happens if you can't get here? If I've had clients that have very limited range of motion, then you can come here, right here. So out and move and back. Stay braced. Down and back. You never want to force yourself into anything that is not happening, because you'll get into that range, like if we had this weighted, but it's not going to be because of the muscles or areas that we want. Something else is going to compromise to get you there, like hyperextension in the back, or the toe coming off the ground, and then you would have actually done more harm than good, or just continue to re-exacerbate the imbalance, and we don't want that. So I love this regimen, it's awesome. You can again do this daily. This is great after a work session, and this is the upkeep for the fundamentals program as well, in both phase 1 and 2. So you would have done this on your days off, limiting yourself to make sure if there's any movement here that is bothering you or exacerbating pain, you don't do it. Enjoy.